one of the biggest and most successful schemes of Satan, I believe in this current day and age, is pornography. Destroying marriages, destroying families, tearing them apart through pornography. Here's what I mean. A lot of people, even Christians unfortunately, will say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not hurting anyone when I look at pornography. But here's what I know. This is like an escalating kind of a disease, if you will, because a man starts to look at pornography, and yes, women do too, but right now we're talking about maybe your husband looking at pornography. He looks at it, he gets kind of ensnared in it because it's kind of an addictive type thing, but it doesn't just stop at kind of softcore porn. Oh no! He develops a tolerance for that, and now he needs to escalate to something a little bit more perverse to keep that same arousal going. And so now he's looking at things that he never dreamed he'd ever look at, whether it's bestiality or homosexuality or whatever, or even child pornography. But then even that often isn't enough. And now this man, who might be a great Christian man, is all of a sudden finding himself acting out in real life, hiring prostitutes, engaging in homosexual acts because he needed to keep that progression going, to keep the arousal going. It is such a destructive thing. We have to take it seriously, let alone the fact that Jesus makes it pretty clear that it's not okay for a man to look at someone else other than his wife lustfully. He says that in Matthew 5:28, where he says, if you looked at a woman lustfully, you've already committed adultery with her in your heart. So let's take this seriously. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, but my husband's a Christian man, he wouldn't be doing this. And hopefully he's not, and not every Christian man is. But underscoring the severity of this problem, listen to this sobering statistic. This is from 2001, so I imagine the problem's only worse by now. But in 2001, an anonymous survey of pastors found that almost 40% of pastors say they regularly struggle with the urge to view pornography. Whew, this is a huge problem. So what are some of the signs, the common signs, indicating a person, a husband, might be viewing pornography or having a habitual problem with pornography? Here are 4 common signs. There are obviously more, but here are 4 common ones. First of all, does he act very secretive? It seems very vague about answers he's giving, and you're just kind of feeling like he's not being forthcoming about the whole truth. That's one possible sign. Is he on the internet a lot? And especially at times when you're out of the room, or maybe even late at night, or maybe even in the middle of the night. That would be another sign. Another huge red flag is he's no longer very interested in having sex with you. This is a very common and telling sign because he's actually satisfying his desires elsewhere by himself viewing pornography. And then a 4th common sign is that he's becoming, well, very rough or demanding or requiring you engage in perverse sexual acts that he never asked for before. Those are 4 common signs. Now, this does not necessarily mean your husband is habitually using pornography, but he might be. And you need to take it seriously. Not because he's your enemy. Your husband is not your enemy. As his helper, though, do you really want to see him go down this destructive path? I've known men that have been arrested for sex crimes, and it all started with pornography use. So take this seriously. Sit down respectfully, lovingly, kindly. Bring this up with your husband. And if he feels like you're his friend and not his enemy, he may be able to talk to you about this, and you guys can seek help together.